Hi, my name's Rebecca from engVid.com. Now, everyone knows that to improve your English, you need to expand your vocabulary, right? True. But in today's lesson, I'm going to show you the key to not just expanding your vocabulary, but really transforming your vocabulary. And how is that? That's by learning something called collocations. What are collocations? Collocations are word combinations or two or more words that are used together very frequently. So rather than just learning one word, if you learn the expression, you learn how that word is used, what verb goes with which noun, etc., then your vocabulary will sound much more advanced, much more natural, and much more fluent. This is very important if you want to impress people when you're speaking, and extremely important if you want to get high marks in any English proficiency exam, such as the TOEFL or the IELTS. Now, there are all kinds of collocations in English about everything that you can imagine. And that's what makes the difference sometimes between whether someone really knows the language or not. It's not just a matter, it's not only a matter of knowing the word, but knowing how to use the combination of words, the collocation. All right? So, in today's lesson, we're going to look at 6 kind of advanced collocations that have to do with cause and effect. Now, you can always say that something made something else happen. And that's English too. And it's perfectly fine to say that. But if you want to say things in a more sophisticated way, in a more intelligent or educated way, then you'll want to use the expressions which I'm going to teach you. All right? So let's have a look. So what I've done, I've written some words in red and some in black. So all of the words in red here at the top basically mean caused, okay? And everything on this side means the effect, all right? So these words are words we can use. These are synonyms for caused or made something happen. And this is the effect of it. So let's look at some examples in sentences. The government's policy produced the results, okay? So you can't say made the results or did the results, but you can say produced the results, all right? So the collocation is to produce results or to produce the results. So the government's policy produced the results that we expected, or the government's policy didn't produce the results that we expected, all right? So that's the collocation there. That's the expression that you can learn. Let's look at another example. The election provoked an outcry. Now, again, provoked has something to do with caused. So to provoke means to cause in a rather aggressive manner, okay? So to provoke what? An outcry. Now, what is it? What is an outcry? An outcry means public anger, all right? So something happened and it caused, in a very kind of an aggressive way, a response, an angry response from the public. So it provoked an outcry, all right? You could say the election results provoked an outcry from the people. Next. The blizzard wreaked havoc on the highway, all right? Now, what's a blizzard? A blizzard is a very heavy snowstorm, for example. So the blizzard wreaked havoc. Wreaked, we said, all these words mean caused. It's another word for caused. And havoc, what is havoc? Havoc means damage, destruction, confusion, okay? So the blizzard, the very heavy snowstorm, caused a lot of damage and destruction on the highway. So it wreaked havoc. Now, of course, if you say that, you always say the blizzard caused a lot of damage, or the blizzard caused a lot of destruction. And that's fine. That's correct English too. But this is better English. All right. Next. The strike spelled disaster for the economy, for example, right? So again, to spell in this case doesn't mean like spelling, okay? It has a different meaning here. Here, to spell disaster means to cause disaster. And what's disaster? Means something very, very, very bad, a very bad event, a very bad happening very serious issues and problems, a disaster. So the strike caused disaster or spelled disaster, okay, for the economy. Next one. The Prime Minister, I just wrote PM, the Prime Minister's behavior prompted speculation about his honesty. The Prime Minister's behavior prompted or caused or led to speculation, which is suspicion or doubt, okay? The Prime Minister's behavior led to doubt, prompted speculation about his honesty, okay? Again, lots of good vocabulary here and even better collocations, right? The entire expression. So this way, if you learn the whole expression, you will be able to write much more fluently and speak much more fluently. Next one. The boss's favoritism bred resentment among the employees. So what is that? First of all, what is favoritism? A favoritism is when somebody favors or treats one person better than another person. So a boss here is treating one employee or a few employees more nicely than other people, okay? Sometimes bosses do that, sometimes teachers do that, sometimes parents do that. They shouldn't do that, but it happens. And when that happens, what happens to the other people? They're not very happy, are they? No. So they feel a lot of resentment. They become resentful. And resentment is basically bitterness or anger. So, and the verb here is to breed resentment, to cause resentment. Okay? So the boss's favoritism bred, in the past, bred resentment among the employees. So you have a lot of serious collocations and expressions to learn here. But just imagine if you learn them and you actually start using them in your writing, of course you're going to get better marks. There's no question about it. And you're going to sound like a very educated person. And if you're in university or in any kind of academic environment, this kind of English is what's required. It's also fairly standard at those levels. Okay? Let's go over them again. You can pronounce them after me. To produce results. To provoke an outcry. To wreak havoc. To spell disaster. To prompt speculation. And the last one, to breed resentment. Okay? Now I just said them as they are. Here, they were all written in the past tense. So this is a really important subject, collocations, if you want to do some practice, which I recommend, because you want to master. You have a lot to master here. You have to master the verbs. You have to master the nouns here, okay? A lot of practice is very helpful. Go to our website, www.engvid.com. And if you want to keep improving your English, subscribe to my channel. There's always lots of ideas that will help you improve and transform your English. Bye for now.